I know we've got some new faces, so welcome to your first Team Victory All-Star Sunday night party. As you can tell, it is a party. We're all basically in our pajamas. So welcome. Today is Sunday, July 26th. I cannot believe that it's at the end of July already. So welcome, you guys. And this is the first team call since Summit of this year. So a lot of you were at home and you were watching from afar and wishing you were there. And I know that there were a lot of you that just couldn't make the trip and vowed that that wouldn't happen next year. So my goal for you guys is to, you already know the dates, you already have your tickets. Now you need to set a reminder and a sticky note in front of you every single week for the next year to remind yourself of why you know that this is important. Because I'm going to tell you that about 2 months before the event begins, so around May, that is where you are going to question yourself. You're going to question whether or not you should go. If you haven't moved your business forward, whether or not it's worth your trip. I know this because it happens every single year. And I guarantee you, when you make that decision and you stay home because of that, you regret it. So in order for you not to do that, you need to set a reminder every week, every month that says, I'm going to Summit, I'm going to Summit, I'm going to Summit. So that constantly reminds you of how important it is to get there next year, okay? We had an amazing time. I will tell you that this summit, and it's easy for me to say that because I've been to 6 of them. This summit was my favorite summit of all times. Not because it was in a different location, not because there were 25,000 people there, but because I felt that it was the first summit that was the validation of what this team has become. And I know for me, I don't necessarily talk about my own goals, and because actually I want you to achieve your goals, because if you achieve your goals, then I'm going to achieve my goals, so why talk about my goals? But I know that I had this discussion with a lot of you that were there at Summit because it was easy to have that one-on-one conversation. But last year, my goal was to create a team that worked together, that was a family. And so at the end of the year, I felt that that is exactly what was accomplished. And at Summit, it was validated 100% that is what we created. We created this family, this team, and now you can see, those of you that have watched in the last few months, the conversations in the team page has really been less of me and more of you, which is, for me, the first time I've been able to sit back and go, everybody's got it under control. But I do think that being at Summit and being able to have this conversation one-on-one with a lot of you was necessary. And so you'll see more and more of that, and I'm going to go over a few things about that in a little bit. Okay, so talk about Summit. Super Saturday. Congratulations for all of you who made it to your Super Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, especially those of you who went to your very first one. It wasn't scary, right? No, exactly. I see Aaron up there. It wasn't scary. It turned out, it always is. You have to listen to what people say, right? Like, there's a reason why we say that, because being at an event, there's this energy that you cannot feel through a computer or through a phone call. It is this energy of being surrounded by people that get you. And the more that you are surrounded by that, now you know exactly why I go to every event I possibly can get to, and why I qualify for everything I possibly can, because I don't want to miss out on that connection. So I'm really, really happy that all of you that made it a point to make it there. This was literally only the second one that I've ever missed. But it was fun to watch everybody at their events. So Congratulations. I'm looking at my little list here. I want to recognize you guys in saying that this week we have added 26 new coaches to the organization, which is huge. Now, if you were on a team call probably about a year ago, it was about the same. We were hitting about 25 a week. And then I stopped talking about it, actually. Then we were averaging about 8 or 9. So out of Summit, it's really exciting. So I'm going to keep telling you guys at every team call how many coaches we're adding to the team a week. So this week's 26, and I'm going to give a shout out to those of you who have signed up, multiple coaches this week. I'm going to give a shout out to Heather, who's actually signed up 3 coaches under Nelson's account. I want to give a shout out to Tina and Ronnie, who between the 2 of them have signed up 3 coaches. Trisha Bragg, who's got 2 coaches. Angela Dennis, a new coach. She's got 2 coaches here. And then those of you that have 1 coach this week, you know, there's a lot of you, so I'm not going to go through everybody, but I want to recognize those that are going above and beyond. And I'll tell you, I'm not one of those 2. I have 1, so I didn't recognize myself. Okay, so awesome job, you guys. Let's keep it going, because you know when you see Lindsay Matway signed up 50,000 coaches in a week, whatever. We got 26 and we're moving because we're close, you know. Okay. I talked to you about the conversations I had about the team page. So the next thing I want to tell you is, since I got to know people a little bit more, and I know that they post a lot, and I want to say that one of the big revelations that I had with a lot of the people that were at Summit that are not in our organization, that are, you know, you'll see the term adopted, TVAS adopted, because you know, people helped me out over the years, so why wouldn't I help somebody else out? The more successful a coach is, the more successful the network is, and, you know, we all learn as leaders. So I've invited a lot of adoptees into the team page. Well, what I discovered was that the majority of them, I don't think there was one person that didn't say this, the majority of them told me that they love being in the team page, but that they didn't know if it was right for them to communicate in there, to help. And I was like, what? Why would I not? You know, how could that not be? That's exactly what I want. You know, that's what I did in my Ryan's team page. I learned my leadership in there by practice. So I sat there and I thought about, why are all of these amazing coaches thinking that they can't be a part of the team page when it doesn't matter. You're in my organization or not. It doesn't matter. Your communication, your activity, your engagement, your help matters to every person that's in there. And then Virginia was sitting next to me the closing night of Summit, and I was telling her this. And I can't believe that people would think that they weren't welcome to talk on the page. And she turned to me and she said, have you ever welcomed them in the team page like you do your other coaches? And I went, oh my gosh. So this is my welcoming to every one of the adopted coaches in there. So you'll see me, if I communicate with another coach outside of our organization and you know, they're a part of our team page, I will definitely welcome them just like I do any other coach. And it was so apparent that that was exactly why. They just thought that they were flies on the wall. So now you guys, they know this too because I've had conversations with them, but you guys won't be able to tell who's on the team or not. Doesn't matter. So that being said, I have watched so many people over the years communicate on the team page. And there are people that have way more skill in certain things than I do. And I mean, I watch the team page and I'm always, you know, checking. And so for some of you who were on the John Maxwell call the other day, when John Maxwell was saying how leadership is exhausting, and I said, oh my God, I'm already in tears, because being in this for this long and really they're working really hard. It is exhausting, and I just lost it. But the reason I lost it was because we've made this shift in this team page, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. But it was like this big sigh of relief that, oh my God, I can actually breathe now. And that's something to say about, you know what, leadership is not easy. You are on more than you think you would be. It doesn't feel like work because you love it, but at the same time, you know, you have to be on. Just the same reason that I don't have roommates at Summit, because there's like that little bit of time and I can just breathe. So now we've like handed the baton off to a lot of coaches on this team. So we're calling them, I call them the gurus, right? So you'll see people tagged in questions. So this is really good for new coaches that have questions, or coaches that have new coaches that have questions. They're very, very, very welcomed to ask those questions on the team page, because we have gurus for every single question that you could possibly imagine. And there's this little list, and I'm going to post the list now that we've talked about. I'm going to post the list in the team page, so that if a question comes up and you don't know the answer, I mean, feel free to ask or to answer it if you know it, because that's, you know, the quicker you do, the quicker that the coach gets the answer. But if you don't know the answer, then go, and if you're a seasoned coach, go ahead and look at that list and see who is the guru in that field, who really is good at that field, and tag that person in there, because they've been more than happy to jump in and help. So that this is that oh gosh, forgive me, I don't know that all ships rising tides. Oh my God, you know what I mean. So it's leverage, like everybody working together to bring everybody up, rather than mom answering all the darn questions. Okay, so no need to tag me, tag the guru. And then guess what? If you are a guru in something that's not listed there, please add your name to it, or even add your name to something else that's already up there that you would like to help on. So here's the thing. Your focus is to help coaches with that one little piece, and you don't have to do everything. So not only is it helping your coaches out, but it's helping you out with time management. You know that, like, the only thing that you really need to focus on to help people in the team page is on that one subject. So it's everybody wins in this situation. So I wanted to announce that. I'm going to post the list in the team page, so you know who to tag. Like, if you don't know the answer, tag the person that has said, yes, I will answer those questions. It's a pretty good list. And it's not, there's no rank attached to it. There's no, you know, I've been a coach for this long. In fact, Erin is one of them. She's like our new coach fear guru, because she's a new coach who just said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm scared. And she has done amazing. So she's really that person, that point person to, you know, set your new coach's fears at ease. So if there's someone that comes in and says, oh my God, I'm terrified, I just started, Erin is the one you're going to tag. And then guess what? Erin will be a veteran coach, and then we'll make somebody else that guru. Okay, so a couple more things I'm gonna go over, and then we're gonna do our special thing. But I'm gonna talk about, in fact, I'm gonna screen share, because this came up. It's come up quite a bit. For those of you that are in the Revive group, we've talked about the 21 days of posting. And the questions that seem to come up are, what do we do? Because day one is an open house invitation. So a business opportunity open house invitation, 3-day thingy. If you chose to post that, I will have no problem running a 3-day group next week, unless somebody else wants to raise their hand and do it. It's super easy, because all I do is schedule the post anyways. The other thing is that I'm going to have a business op webinar on Wednesday night. So the question is, well, what do I do if I post it? Just post it. Guess what? You have people that are interested or not. If you're just starting to post, don't sweat it if nobody jumps on that. Don't sweat it, because what you're doing is you're starting the process of talking about it, okay? So that's one question that keeps coming up for the 21 days of posting. The other question, I'm pulling up my Facebook here, now I'm gonna screen share. The other question is, do I post on my like page or my personal page? Okay, so I'm gonna show you, of course it's taking a while. So to answer that question quickly, do I post on my like page or my personal page? Here's how I view it. Your 21 days of posting, every single post, you're posting morning, noon, and night. Every single post will not be seen by every single one of your friends on your personal page or on your like page. Wow, this is good. Look at that load. There will be posts that will be seen by, let's just say one person sees, you know, one post a day or maybe 2 posts a day, but chances are nobody's going to see everything, right? So if you're just starting out and you don't have a like page, then that's perfectly fine. Just schedule it on your personal page, okay? If you have a like page, I would schedule them for the first 21 days on your personal page, and then the next 21 days, schedule them on your like page, and then what you're gonna do is this. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, me dancing, yeah. Okay, so let's just say that this champagne picture was one of the 21 days of posting, right? So I have, and I'm scheduling it on my like page. What I do, and this is the hardest thing for people because they can't get it to work, so you guys have to watch. I'm gonna tag myself, so you've got 3 posts, right? Okay, 3 posts, you're gonna tag yourself in one and you're gonna share on another one. And then the other one's just gonna float on your like page. So you're gonna get into a habit, once you've already done the 21 days of posting on your personal page, now that people see, wow, okay, she seems to be motivating, you're gonna throw in, go visit my like page to get more likes. Then the next 21 days, you're gonna post those same posts, but on your like page. And then you're gonna tag yourself in one, you're gonna share another picture. So you're gonna click on your picture, okay? Then you're going to hit refresh on your browser. So see, it comes up in the light box. You're gonna hit refresh on your browser. This is important because I want to show you what it looks like if you haven't seen this yet. And the big question is, how can you do this on your phone? And I'll tell you that in a second, if this ever loads. Okay, so now you can see this looks different, right? This is the old way that Facebook used to show pictures. This is the only way that you're able to tag your personal page, okay? So we haven't talked about anything about ads or boosting posts or anything. So you're simply going to tag yourself in one and share in another one. So I already tagged myself in this one earlier today, but you're gonna click tag photo down here, and then you're gonna tag yourself. So you can see that it says with Anna, with my personal page, okay? So you can see down here how it shows up on my personal page. It shows up just like it normally would show up, but you can see right here, this is actually my like page that's showing it, right? So it's really no different. Even though I posted it over there, it's still showing up on my personal page. Then you're going to share it. You're going to share another post. So here's an example without me going back and forth. This video I did on my like page, but I shared it on my personal page just by clicking share, and it was posted. So you can scroll my personal page, and the only thing that I actually posted on my personal page today was this post and this post, but yet there are, you know, of course there's tags, but there are 4 posts on here, but I only actually posted on my personal page twice. So I tagged one and I shared one. It's just a good system to kind of go through. It doesn't matter morning, noon, and night. Just tag one and share one. Tag one and share one. Tag one and share one. But oh God, I don't want to keep watching myself dance. So to answer your question, should I do it on my personal page or should I do it on my like page? It's totally up to you, but here I would just start with your personal page and then go to your like page and do this. And then when you go back to your personal page, you know exactly what you're going to be posting because you just had 21 days to kind of see what your friends like, right? And then I wanted to, the same question, I want to make sure that I answer all the questions that came up on the same topic here. If you only have, let's say you only have 50 likes on your page, what you're going to do is you're going to campaign. So this is a perfect reason why to do it this way as well. You're going to just post on your personal page, but you're going to start posting one or two things on your like page, and you're going to campaign to get your friends to at least like your like page. So you can boost up your number of likes so that you will be able to place ads if you want to, or boost posts if you want to, come those next 21 days. So your goal should be, if you have 50 likes, your goal should be, I think it's 200. And I'll give you an example of what Tandy Hasser said about this. She said, to get my first 250 and gain traction, I actually posted my link in a few groups that I was active in and asked people to help me out by liking my page. I also posted a link in my personal page asking friends to help support me and like the page. So that will boost your numbers up on your like page so that you can start targeting people. Like I showed earlier a post, I don't know if it's on this page, a post that I boosted. And I want to actually, I'll go through that really quickly here because I said that I would. Because I think that this is important. So now I'm talking to somebody that has over 250 likes on their page and can boost a post, okay? I used to place an ad for likes. And honestly, that's how I got 12,000 likes. They are not targeted at all. They are so poorly targeted that my 12,000 goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So basically, I'm trying to replenish all those 12,000 with like truly targeted people, but placing a like page ad has not worked well. What I do post are simple, and this is the Sarah Try share. She shared this with us and shared this with me a long time ago. Simple post that is boosted towards a specific audience. So this particular post was just me, and it's a quote, but it was boosted towards a specific audience. Now, what happens is I boosted it for like $5 for a couple days. I have 123 likes, and yes, there are a lot of friends that like it, but here's what I want to show you, and I hope that Virginia watches this because this is how I develop relationships. Over here, this is where you're getting your 2 for the price of 1. You can click on the likes and scroll down here, and you can see here at one point I've invited these people to like my like page. So I don't have to pay for another ad to invite them to like. I can go down here manually because they're already targeted based on my boosted post and click invite to like my page, okay? So if you do have likes on your like page and you are not able to boost yet, I would scroll through there and see if there's anybody that you can actually invite. You may not be able to because I don't know if this feature works if you have less than 250. It's worth a shot to try. But now I've just invited probably, I don't know, 20, 25 new people to like my page. And if they were already targeted once and they like the picture, so if they really like it, then they'll like the page. And that way I can continue to boost my likes. So that, and Heather posted this as very, it's a good technique as well. So this boosted post right here, is targeting an outside group. It's not targeting my 12,000 likes. It's targeting this outside group to come like the page. But if I'm going to go do a challenge group invite and do a boost on that invite, I'm going to target those people that I've already targeted that actually like my page. So it's very limited, and you get more for your money that way. So I'm glad Heather mentioned that. But if you don't have a like page, then get a like page started. And you know what? Even if you do post the 21 days of posting over there, at least you're putting up content and you're getting it going. It's not, people are not going to, if you go to Tanya Lewis's page, she repeats posts all the time. So I wouldn't worry about you repeating those posts. Just get the thing going. But I also want you to know that you can build both pages without killing yourself. You know, you can schedule your posts and then you can tag and share so that both are being seen and that you're kind of balancing them out, okay? So I wanted to share that. And now I want to share my my new thing. This is exciting, and I hope Heather's here. She's here somewhere. I hope. There she is. Okay. So we are going to do something. This is so exciting. We are going to do something super exciting now for the TVAS team parties. And I know you saw, a lot of you saw my little chat here that said if we get over 25 every week, I'm going to boost it back up to the 100 person. But since we were so low on attendance, I was paying, and I don't want to pay more. But with this my new idea, we will definitely have over 25 people. Okay. So I had you guys that are in the Revive group start reading the book Curious Minds. I finished that book on my way to the mountains this weekend. I was like in love with this book. I read a lot of books. I don't finish a lot of books. That one I finished. And it got me thinking. A lot of coaches say, oh, you're well connected, which is not true. I just have built relationships over 6 years with a lot of really amazing coaches. And I would love them all to host our team call, but you know, Sunday nights is hard for a lot of people, and you're like, you don't want to take them away from their family. So here's what we're going to do. And I've already gotten quite a few people lined up for these. So we'll have team calls out till like a year from now. I am going to be interviewing these coaches. I'm going to be playing the interview live on the team call, and then we are going to discuss on this Zoom call once the interview is over. So we're going to test it out live today with one of our own amazing coaches, Heather. So I'm gonna pull you up. So Heather agreed to be my guinea pig. I texted her like an hour ago. I was like, can you be my guinea pig? She said, what are the questions that I have? I said, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out when I'm working out, because that's how I roll. Okay. So bear with me. So are you guys excited about this new thing? If I tell you some of the coaches that I have already lined up, I want to see everybody's thumbs up here. Okay. So I have Chris Reed already lined up for an interview. I know Heather's like, woohoo. I have another one of your favorite, Heather Dixon, lined up. I have Natalie Tuman. I have Tracy Warren talking about building a story. So anyways, it's going to be endless. And that was just reaching out to those particular people right now, and then going from there. So I'm super excited about this, because then it's not me talking. You guys get value, and you guys get to ask questions as well, because I'm going to tell you who I'm interviewing next, and you can ask specific questions based on what you love about them. So it'll be really fun, okay? So we're going to interview Heather now, because she knows a lot of stuff. All right, Heather, you on? You good? Voice.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so Heather.
Not my real hair, for the record, because people are commenting in the chat. My hair is just pulled back. This is the front layer. So everyone's like, you got your hair? No, I didn't. It's still back there.
I know, I was going to say that too. Like, wait a minute.
Maybe I should cut it. If I'm getting
No, it is cute that way. You take a screenshot, and then you know what to.
Exactly.
Okay. So Heather, as you guys, a lot of you know, Heather and I have been friends forever. It feels like it's been 16 years, almost 17 years 16, 17 years. And Heather did not join as a coach right away, but her husband, who is my birthday buddy, decided to help me out. Okay, so when we talk about, your friends helping you out, when you first started as a coach, it was my mom, my cousin Tiffany, and my friend Nelson. And so Nelson signed up under Jeremy, my husband, so that I could get Jeremy to Emerald, right? But Nelson didn't really do anything, but he was supporting me, the crazy woman who was posting about P90X. He was just helping out. So a couple years later, Heather realized what this whole thing was all about. She's a numbers person, right? Yes, numbers person. And she wanted to know the numbers. Once she realized what was in front of her, she decided to build a business. So, and you guys have seen her post incredibly helpful information. So you may want to know a little bit more about her. Okay. So what I want to ask you, Heather, is how long have you been a coach?
I've been a coach for 4 years.
Okay. So so when did you become, because a lot of people are new on here, they may not know, when did you become a full-time Beachbody coach?
Last March. So almost 3 years in.
Okay. So 3 years in of working her business, she decided to become a full-time Beachbody coach. So she's been home for over a year. And with your husband's account, okay, so we get this question all the time. Well, my husband doesn't really want to do anything my husband doesn't want anything to do with the business. You're a perfect example. Actually, you're an extreme example of how to build a business with your husband's account. So can you just kind of share a little bit about how you've been able to do that and why, etc.?
Right, sure. So as Anna mentioned, Nelson signed up 6 years ago, basically right after Anna did. And he was moderately interested in working the business, but he never really jumped into it. Besides for having a couple of like home parties and stuff with Anna. But I feel like I'm looking at myself over here instead of the camera. So if I'm looking off to the side,
it's all good.
I at the time had just had my first baby, and I was working as an executive at a movie studio at Sony Pictures here in Los Angeles. So I had a really busy job, and I knew I was going to be having another baby. I mean, the plan was always to have 2 babies, and I was like, yeah, you go do that cute little thing that Anna's doing. You guys do that cute thing together. I have a real job. So you guys go do that thing. And then after the second baby, I was like, okay, so I'm done having babies. I want to focus on, not only my physical self, but like, what is my long-term plan here? I've got 2 little kids. I'm going to be putting them in daycare so I can go back to work. But, I was kind of looking in the future, and my crystal ball went to like kindergarten. Like when they start school, who's going to pick them up after school? Who's going to help them with their homework? This thing, even though I have this great job that pays me a lot of money and, has some prestige and some fun because I got to hang out with famous people, I was like, this isn't what I want long-term. So I decided to sign up, and I'll honestly say that I was not that consistent at first. I did go Emerald in my first month. And then I kind of was just hanging out there for a bit. And, I used the time excuse, the commute excuse, that I have 2 babies excuse. And I would say for the first year and a half, I wasn't very consistent at all. And then I think probably about a year in, I realized when Nelson had signed, this is kind of probably the opposite of most coaches because he signed up ahead of me. I realized that working his business was going to make us a lot more money because he had all these coaches that had signed up in the meantime. And I was like, all I need to do is build his weak leg. And that's when I started to dig into the numbers, and I got really more engaged. I was like, he's already got all this volume on his strong leg. I just need to build that weak leg. So I started exclusively building his account, which is now 2-Star Diamond, which if you guys were at Summit and saw me, I was like, I'm the 2-Star Diamond. I don't care if it's in your name. I'm walking on that field. So I did. So then I realized, and then once I got his, I was one of the diamonds that got him 2-Star Diamond. So then now I'm kind of doing this. And then he opened he opened a second business account. So now I'm kind of balancing the 3. But it's a little bit of the opposite. But one thing I've been talking a lot about my coaches lately, because everyone's like, oh, my spouse isn't into it, I don't want to sign him up. I'm like, you guys, just sign him up right away. You don't have to do anything with him. You want him at the top of that weak leg. I have probably 100 coaches in between Nelson and I. And if I had signed up even just in name, back in the beginning, all of those, I would be benefiting off of, all of that volume. So even if your husband is not supportive, doesn't care, just say, look, I'm just using you as a placeholder. This is going to help me get to Emerald. This is you have the top spot in my organization, and everyone else I sign up under there is a benefit. So that's just a side note. But
yeah.
Your question?
Yeah, no, yeah, you did. And I'm going to take it a step further. So here's a question that a lot of people get. Okay, so my husband agreed, okay, just don't spend a whole lot of money. Okay, that's fine. Put me there. Because that's what mine did. That's what mine did. Okay, whatever. So the question that comes up a lot is, well, how do I put people in that account when it's not me? So what do you tell your customers or your coaches that sign up in that account?
I got to tell you, I've been doing this. I've done this for hundreds of customers, dozens of coaches. I just say, I'm going to sign you up. The account is going to say Nelson, but I run both of the businesses for my husband and I. I'm your point person. I'm your coach. I've only ever had one person say no. And she said, I have an issue with men. I don't even want to sign up under a man in name only. So she clearly had issues that went beyond this, but like everyone's just like, I don't care. Like, okay, as long as I'm a person, whatever. So just say you're building the business. You have a business in both your names, I'm still your coach. I'm your person. It's just a name only on this account.
And I want to make a point. And when you do say that, because I do the same thing. When you do say that, that actually shows your confidence. Oh my God, my poor dog that's had surgery is knocking things over in here. He's obviously moving around now. When you do say it that way, that gives you the confidence of you owning your own business, which carries across to your customers and your coaches, right? You say, okay, well, I'm building my account. That means like, all right, well, she must be legit if she's talking about this as a business and she has my best interest at heart because she's going to put me in the right place. So that just like that one little piece that actually validates you as someone that is owning your own business, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I say, if it's a coach sign up, I'll say, I want to put you in the place that's going to benefit you the most. This is the spot that's growing the most. Maybe that doesn't make total sense to you yet, but just trust me that this is the most beneficial thing for you. Yeah. And this is just what it's going to say. And to answer Lana's question in the chat, this is when you're actually sending them. There's no form. This is actually when you would send them your husband's link instead of your own. So if you're like, I would say now what I do basically is I get my Success Club locked in first for the most part. And then any extra coaches or challenge packs, I'll sign up under one of his accounts. So it's like when you send the sign up link, you just send up theirs instead of yours with that coach ID.
Yeah, there's no difference. It's just an account. So, do you want to answer? Lana has a second question.
There is a form you can fill out. So for the most part, the form is only needed when you call Coach Relations. And it's like, there is a form. I don't remember what it is. I'll find it for you. It was super vague and buried, but I had to send it to compliance. And that's not so you can sign. You don't need it to send people's links, but if you want to call and update your credit card or ask about a customer switch, you do need this form that says, I, Heather, am allowed to speak on behalf of Nelson's account. That said, I do 99% of everything on the live chat, and I just say, hi, it's Nelson. The last 4 of my social is blah, 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 and it doesn't matter. But if you ever did need a call, yes.
Yeah.
Do the form just so you're covered.
Yeah, and we've been doing that for years before this form came out. They just wanted to cross their T's and dot their I's when it comes to having a conversation with Coach Relations. But as far as building a spouse's account, for years before this forum came out, that's what every top coach, every coach in this business has done. And corporate knows that, and there's nothing wrong with that. So those are good questions though. Okay, so that was super helpful because that comes up a lot, especially when people want to make Emerald and they want to sign up their spouse, but their spouse is like, oh, is this Emma, I want to see. Wait, I think Ronnie's on over here.
Yeah, he is.
Is Ronnie on here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ronnie, will you unmute yourself because I can't find you? Will you unmute yourself and you can tell us what you thought in the beginning? Oh, there, I see. There he is.
Put me on the spot, huh?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to spotlight you.
I don't know. I thought some of it was a joke.
right? But then you saw and you were surrounded by those wonderful people, and now look at you, you're on a team call. So
Yeah.
even the skeptics have a change of heart, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's all because of itchy butts.
Oh, Ronnie's I called him the troublemaker. It was the first time I met him at Summit, and I was talking to somebody, and I kept itching my head. I was like, what the heck? And I looked up, and he's throwing stuff down at me and hitting my head. And so he's a troublemaker. So thank you for sharing. But so you can have someone like Ronnie who says, okay, now I get it. Or you can have someone like my husband who says, have fun, build a business, don't
Yeah.
talk about it, all good, and still be okay. I mean, I will say that I have built Jerry's business. Jerry's, he's not one-star qualifying right now, but he's a diamond coach. He doesn't know one thing about this business, and that's because I've built his business. So, and corporate knows that, so it's all good. All right, so Heather, I'm not done with your questions. Okay, so in the last 3 months, what has been one struggle that you have overcome in the last 3 months?
For me, the last 2 months specifically has been a time struggle because the kids have been home from summer. So it kind of actually just reminded me of what it was like to be back at work. In fact, it was worse because, I hate to say worse that I had my children 24/7, but, it reminded me that when I first started, I barely had any time to work the business. And what I really have done this summer to kind of, stay afloat, if you will, is really take advantage of some of the tools that we have. So scheduling posts and relying on, the podcast app for calls and trainings and playbacks and things, using Asana, and there are many days where I just did the minimum. So it's like, I don't want my message of the day that you take away with this. Heather said to do the minimum, but literally, when life happens, do the minimum. Do not use it as an excuse to be like, I'm just not going to do anything today because life's so busy and I have the kids all day and I have this and that. At least do the minimum. Check your, you do your power of 3, you check your Asana, you do your basic posts. If you had to schedule them, in chunks, that's fine too. But so that's how I managed to kind of keep everything going and even growing throughout the summer, even though the kids have been home full time.
Awesome. Perfect. Because that's something that everybody struggles with. Doesn't matter if you've been a coach forever or not, or you're home doing this full time. You still struggle with time management. And that's a really good point. Okay, so now we're going to get really meaty because we still have a little bit of time left. We're going to talk about the cup. And another reason why I asked Heather to do this Q&A was because Heather has been really successful in running teams for the cup, and she probably has the best planned out cup plan. No, it's true, because none of us really have a plan. I don't have a plan. I never have, because my cup teams have failed and have done well and failed and have done well. But what I've seen and observed is that you always need to have a plan for the cup and how you run a team. So what I want you to share is your top 3 tips for being a team captain.
Okay. So I think the number one thing that I would say, and I feel like people, I don't want to say underestimate themselves, but okay, so it's setting your goal at the beginning. What are you going to do? Not setting the bar too low. If you've never hit Success Club 5, do not make Success Club 5 your goal, because it's something better than I've ever done before, because you will only do the amount of work that gets you to Success Club 5, maybe, and even that might not happen because, it takes time to build. I would say set your goals high, because then you're going to amp up your activity. You're going to have that posture of, I'm going to be successful, and you may not hit that goal. So you can't take that personally either. I've had people tell me, well, I don't want to say 10 points because then I'll feel bad about myself when I only get 3 or whatever. You need to just set your goals high. It's so that there's that quote, like, if you shoot for the stars, you'll still land among the moon, or something like that, right? It's like you want to first tell yourself you're going to be successful. You want to set a high goal, and then you want to plan your activity accordingly, because you're going to talk to so many more people if you're going for 20 points than if you were going for 5 points. You're going to, and I've been there before in months, not Team Cup months, but other months where it's going great in the beginning and you get Success Club 5 in that first week or so. and you're like, I'm so good. This month's going to be awesome. And then you just start to coast, and then you just start to lose momentum. So it's set an aggressive goal, and don't be afraid to go for it, but don't like kick yourself in the ass if you don't get it either. It's not the end of the world. Everyone on your team is not going to hate you because you didn't get the t-shirt. It's not about the t-shirt. I know a lot of people are driven about the t-shirt. I like free shit too. Not as much as some people. I'm not going to mention names. You know what I mean? It's like you want to go for it, but you know, it's just a way to amp up your business, to stay focused for 30 days. Just shoot really high and don't lowball yourself, because that's like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
So that's number one thing, because I keep seeing that over and over. So as a team, decide what your goals are. I would say you want to have like a chat. We have a group page and a chat. So the chat is just for our group of 5, and then the group page is for all of the groups in my downline. So I think daily accountability and weekly Zooms are important. If you set a goal each week, and then you get on one of these face to face and say, I did it, I didn't do it. Something about knowing you got to get on the phone and see these people, look them in the eye, and be like, I didn't do what I said I was going to do. You know what I mean? It just gives you that extra kick in the butt. And then the third thing I would say is just to celebrate every win. So every point, every rank advancement, every great conversation, every, I did this thing I didn't think I could do, I made a video, or whatever it is, celebrate on the team page, and everybody be really supportive and, jump on that and be like, that's awesome that you did that. It's kind of like the equivalent of, NSVs, non-scale victories that people talk about in weight loss. It's like the NSCVs, the non-success club victories, right? I totally just made that up.
Hey, hashtag.
But I love it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it didn't lead to a point, but I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I was only going to talk to 5 people today, but I talked to 10. Or I made a video and I've never done it before,
Totally. I love that. I think that's really key, because you already had addressed it, and that was actually one of the questions I had for those people, the advice for those that are afraid of disappointing their team.
Mm-hmm.
Your team, and you can add to this, but I know that your team wants you to be successful, whatever that is to you. It doesn't mean that you need to hit 10 points. They want you to be successful. So I love that you said that even you sharing that you had one more conversation than you even thought you would have is a huge success. And I think that we don't, I know that I'm guilty of that. I don't tend to recognize that as much as we should, but that's a huge, huge deal. So I think that goes along with, those that are a cap. So the question about if you're a captain of a team and let's just say you're a coach, and you've like been, oh crap, I'm the captain. What advice would you give that particular person who's never led a cup team, who feels that they're, not quite at the rank that they should be to lead? Like what advice would you give that person?
I would just say you want to just make sure everyone participating, include everyone. So you don't feel like you have to take it all on yourself, like assign certain things if there's things. You want to be the Zoom scheduled person, but like everyone brings something to the table. So make sure you're including everyone. If you notice somebody's a little quiet, like tag them in a post like, hey, how's it going? And that's all being a leader is including people. Like you don't have to know everything. And, don't be afraid to delegate either. If you feel like I can't do all this, or, there's really not that much to do as just a team leader once you've set it all up. But if there's anything you feel like you can't do, ask for help in your team. I mean, everybody's there to support each other.
Yeah. And I think that there might be this, and I've gotten this vibe. I think that there might be, and that's kind of why I posted that question, like who's terrified of it? And I think it goes along with, being a captain. There's this stigma of like, it's this thing, but really it's not a thing. It's just a small group of people that are sharing their goals. It's kind of like our mini Zooms outside of our Maxwell calls. It's like a brainstorming session. It's rather than you chatting in the team page where all these people there, it's just 5 of you that are like, go team, go, how many conversations did you have? That's really all it is, right? When you say.
Yeah. We're going to follow the same format that I do with my success partners. And that's, did you hit your goals from last week? So we set a goal and we say, did you hit your goals next week? What's one thing that's working for you? What's one thing that's not working for you? And we share and brainstorm, and that's it.
Perfect. That's perfect. That is the perfect advice for like, let's just do the cup thing, because I think that people don't know, like, what should we talk about? I love that.
Right.
Okay. So any other things that you want to say about the cup before I move on to the last?
No, I think we talked about it. Yeah, I think we talked about everything.
Okay. So what since you've been a coach for as long as you have, you're a full-time Beachbody coach. Name one of your goals that you want to hit so that people know, okay, if I'm a 2-star diamond and I'm home full-time, what would a goal look like to me? Like what, and I know they're personal, but share one goal that might be helpful to say, okay, when I get there, that'll be my next goal.
Yeah, well, let me first say that I think it took me a really long time to believe even being that was my big goal for a long time, to be a full-time coach. And I almost think I didn't actually believe it myself, like that it was possible, that it would happen. So, I mean, I kind of talked a good game in my own head. So if you still think it sounds like ridiculous to not have to go to your job, like, trust me, I'm with you on that. But then it happened. So there you go. My next big goal is to retire my husband from his job. So, I mean, it's great. I think having the freedom that I have now has shown me that I want the freedom even more, because he's still tethered to this job and, you know, has to ask for time off. And even though I have much more time than I had before, it's not the full freedom that I want. It's like you get a taste of it and you want even more. So that is my big goal. I have to work hard to get it. But luckily things are growing, and, just keep going. Luckily the kids are going back to school in a couple of weeks, so I can get into a routine. And so I think the rest of this year is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I like that you share that. You struggle with a lot. What everybody else struggles with. It's not that once you're a full-time coach, it's like, oh, you have all the time in the world to do whatever you want to do. It's like there's life. You're a full-time coach, but now your kids are not at daycare. You're actually watching them, so that takes up time. So one really quick question that kind of touches on the goal setting was, when you were, and I love that you shared that you almost didn't believe that was possible. When you weren't earning that much money, how did you see the light? Because you even touched on, I know a lot of you out there think, okay, yeah, I want to, but I don't picture myself. Like, how did you see that light?
Well, the first thing I did is I looked at people who were kind of a little bit ahead of me, and that doesn't mean in how long they've been a coach, but kind of in how they were growing. I looked at Anna and, picked her brain, like, okay, what's it going to take to get there? There were times I just had to dig in and do more personal development because I just didn't have the belief in myself to do it. So that was really important. And I'm one of those people that, like, before Beachbody, I thought, like, self-help was like a load of crap. Like, I was like, you would not catch me dead at, like, a Tony Robbins thing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah. And then, and then I started reading some of the stuff that was recommended, and I'm like, this isn't hokey at all. This is actually, like, realistic, like, positive, like, stuff to fill your brain. But that's a side note.
I remember you back then too, and I agree that would be the last thing that you would. But yeah,
I just told myself, this time is gonna pass anyway, and I don't have to be the first one there. That's the thing, is that I would see people who, in a year or 6 months had quit their job, and I was already, 2 or 3 years in, and I just went, I'm going to run my own race. Time's going to pass anyway. I'm just not going to quit, because once you quit, all of the potential is gone. Like, you have to stick with it. You have to stick through the rough times, but just run your own race and don't compare yourself to other people. Just keep chugging.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're going to end this with the question, and you guys will catch this now listening to every National Wake Up Call if you haven't caught this yet. But at the end of every National Wake Up Call, I know this because they asked me this, and you'll catch this. They even did it on stage. What has coaching done for you?
Well, it's allowed me to be home with my kids. So when I first started, like I mentioned, I would see them, like, in the morning. You're getting the kids ready. I don't know if that's quality time. An hour in the morning, and then I'd get home half an hour before they went to bed. So that's not really, like, it's pretty sad when strangers are spending more time with your kids than you. And then, I couldn't see that as a, forever thing. It just didn't make sense to me. Why did I have these kids, to never see them, right? And I know, Anna, you feel the same way, like, with how long the adoption, eventually all that stuff took you. It's like, you work so hard for these kids. And it's like, well, yeah, I worked hard in a different way, but still, I want these kids and I want to spend time with them. So that's been the biggest change. I was commuting, and it was just, I just wasn't happy. I'd gotten to a ceiling, and I wasn't very fulfilled. And, when you work a regular job, you have people that you don't like and you don't like working with. And now I get to kind of pick and choose who I spend time with. And, I have a flexible schedule. I can work from anywhere. It's kind of, what I always wanted, but I didn't know it existed.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, now every national wake up call you'll hear at the very end, that's the question that everybody always asks. So to close the call out. So I like it because it kind of puts everything together and then it makes you realize, wow, look at what I've done, because sometimes we get involved in. So thank you for sharing. Thumbs up, everybody, if you like this interview thing. Of course, then Heather's on live, so you have to do thumbs up, or else she'll kick your butt. Okay, so I'm super excited about doing this. They won't be live, but they still we'll still go through a question and answer of what that amazing coach's strength is, because like I said, one of Heather's many strengths is the team cup. She's also our compensation plan and placement guru, talking about gurus earlier. So if you guys ever have any questions about comp plan or placement, you are going to tag Heather in that post. Okay, so thank you, Heather, for being my guinea pig and sharing your knowledge. So hopefully that wasn't too stressful. So I told you. I said, don't worry about it. It's just me asking you questions. It doesn't matter. I'll ask you the question.
What I know you out of range is all my post-its of the brainstorming that I was doing, because she sent me the questions like 10 minutes before the call. So I'm like, I'm just going to jot a few things down.
And great minds think alike. All right, so we need a screenshot, guys, and then we're gonna get off. But I want to thank you guys for, just being you. These are so flipping awesome. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do a call tonight, because I was driving home from the mountains today, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, I am gonna be home at this time. Oh, Heather, wanted to, because I love you guys, and I knew I would see all of your beautiful faces. Okay. Hold on. Okay, you guys ready? Give me your best smiles. All right, guys, thank you again. And if this was your first call, I hope you guys enjoyed the party. Bye, everybody.